All season long, he seemed looser and more comfortable, as if no longer being the center of attention, combined with no longer hiding the secret of his steroid use, had lifted a heavy burden from his shoulder. And that's to say nothing of the learnings of Kabbalah. But there was still the question of how he would fare in the playoffs. That last hurdle that had dogged him with the Yankees since 2004. In the first round that year, the Yankees faced off against the Minnesota Twins in the division series. You might remember from Chapter 4 that it was against the Twins that Alex had his last great postseason series when he beat them nearly single-handedly in the 2004 division series. So this was perhaps a comforting matchup for Rodriguez. And you might remember from everything else about baseball in the last 20 years that this was a comforting matchup for the Yankees. So then in Game 1, he had 2 RBI hits in a game the Yankees won 7-2. His RBI single in the 5th was his first postseason hit with a runner in scoring position in 18 at-bats, a stretch dating all the way back to 2004 in the ALCS. When TBS flashed that graphic on the screen, showing that it was his first such hit since 2004, it seemed like a sign that this was a new Alex. But the real proof would come in the next game. The Yankees' offense was mostly silenced in Game 2 by Nick Blackburn and the Twins' bullpen. Going into the 9th, they had only 2 hits and trailed 3-1. Minnesota brought in their closer, Joe Nathan, who had a career-high 47 saves that year with a 2.10 ERA. Nathan gave up a single to Mark Teixeira, and then A-Rod came up as the tying run.
Fly ball center field, well hit, at the track, he's done it again! There's bedlam in the Bronx as Alex Rodriguez, a new man in 2009, has tied this game in the 9th inning. And
This new man narrative would recur over and over again that postseason. It was almost too perfect that Alex was shedding his postseason reputation in the first season after he'd been connected to steroids. It was some kind of weird American ego death, where by suffering the worst kind of reputation-ruining humiliation, he could not only achieve the team success that had always eluded him, but also the personal glory that he had always craved. The Yankees won Game 2 a couple innings later when Teixeira homered in the 11th. Then, in Game 3, Alex hit another game-tying home run, this time in the 7th inning. Jorge Posada homered 2 batters later to give the Yankees a lead, and they won 4-1, sweeping Minnesota. Overall, A-Rod went 5 for 11 with 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. Not only that, but he led the team in win probability added, which measures not just what you do, but how much what you do contributes to the win based on the situation.
In other words, nobody could say Alex was just padding his stats. Practically every hit he had in that series was a big one, and he finally got that division series monkey off his back. But it was just 3 games. That's the thing about these short series. If you're bad, people remember, but if you're good, people can dismiss it as just a small sample size. Plus, it was against the Twins, the same team Rodriguez had dominated in 2004. So A-Rod still had some doubters. Could he really keep this up? In the ALCS, the Yankees would face the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, who were 10 games better than the Twins that year and had actually split the regular season series with the Yankees in 2009. So it was set to be a more competitive series. In Game 1, Alex had a sacrifice fly to give the Yankees the lead in the first inning, and then CC Sabathia pitched a gem, and the Yankees won 4-1. Game 2, though, was set to be Alex's first bad game of the postseason. Through a rainy 9 innings, he was 0 for 4, and the Yankees had only scratched across 2 runs. But so had the Angels, so the game went into extra innings. In the 11th, Los Angeles went up on an RBI single by Sean Figgins. Remember him? And then down 3-2 in the bottom of the 11th, Alex Rodriguez led off that inning.
in the air to right. Back is Abreu at the wall. That's gone. Game tied. It's a home run. tied at 3.
He did it again.
It was just inches over Abreu's outstretched glove, but it was enough. The next inning, Alex came up again, this time with the game tied and the bases loaded, and he flew out. In a previous era of A-Rod, the team would have lost the game, and that at-bat would be all anyone remembered. But now, in this new, charmed era, the team walked it off the next inning, and Rodriguez was remembered as the hero for yet another game-tying hit. At this point, the Yankees had played 5 playoff games in 2009, and Alex had a game-tying home run in 3 of them, twice in the team's potential last at-bat. He homered again in Game 3, but this time the Angels would rally late to win in 11 innings, handing New York its first loss of the playoffs. The Yankees responded with a 10-1 drubbing in Game 4, with Alex homering yet again, his 5th home run in 7 games. By this point in the postseason, he was 11 for 27 with 4 walks, an on-base percentage of .469, and a slugging percentage of 1,000. He'd had at least 1 hit and at least 1 RBI in every game so far. He was so hot that in Game 5, Los Angeles intentionally walked him twice, including once in the 9th inning with 2 outs and nobody on base. Mike Scioscia, the Angels' old-school manager, was willing to put the tying run on base rather than give A-Rod another chance to hit a game-tying home run.
I get so mad about postseason intentional walks, maybe because of the Josh Hamilton debacle that would happen the next year with the Yankees against the Texas Rangers.
Yeah, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves here, but yeah. But I think it was like teams were terrified of A-Rod in that playoffs because he was just on such a roll. He was hitting so well that, the fact that Scioscia did something like that, even though it was a crazy decision, just spoke to how well A-Rod was doing.
Only in baseball can a player go from unmitigated failure to unstoppable in 7 postseason games. That's what Alex Rodriguez has done. He has driven in a run in 8 straight postseason games, tying the record held by Lou Gehrig and Ryan Howard. Rodriguez has as many home runs, 5, in 29 at-bats in this postseason as he had in his previous 145 at-bats in the postseason.
It's been as good as I can remember. What he's been able to do so far in this postseason has been really pretty incredible.
I feel like, you want to see the ball and hit it hard and not try to do too much. But I think the best way I can describe it is you feel like the game is slowing down for you a little bit.
He's as good as anybody who has performed up to this point in any playoff.
The record for most home runs in a postseason is 8 by Barry Bonds in 2002 and Carlos Beltran in 2004. It is not premature to mention that, not with where it appears the Yankees are headed and not with the way Rodriguez is swinging the bat. In Anaheim, Tim Kirkchin, ESPN.